by it, I'm going to put statement, comma, sentence. So in statistics, let's look at statement as someone said, an educated guess. So you're guessing why, you're supposing. So what you see there is linked, okay, because of what you heard before. So it carries weight. Suppose, or propose, guess, show, statement made. And that's what I did there. There are many negative effects and, educated guess, okay, without any information. It's like you're making a statement without information. It's a research question and you don't have information, so you're guessing out of your mind, all right? On the basis of limited evidence, because evidence means data. Okay, so let's highlight that with the evidence and put in bracket data, okay? Specific values for the variables as a starting point for further investigation. So here comes now the research project. Here comes the questionnaire. You're going to start seeking information, okay? So that your decision now can be informed. It will not be limited. Now, as we say now, when you draw that conclusion based on the information you gathered, how you gathered the information, what technique you used, okay, what population you interviewed, how accurate is the information you gathered. So therefore now, the conclusion you come about is not the absolute truth. Always bear that in mind. So that educated guess, that supposed explanation, all right, what I just said there can be tested. No, this is an educated guess, okay? And it can be tested based on the data to test. What does it mean to test? We are very familiar with that word, a test. But we took some time to actually define it formally. What is a test? If somebody says, so what is a test?
To evaluate.
Evaluate, so the word evaluate comes in mind. Let's see what Google have to say. A procedure intended to establish the quality of performance or reliability of something. All right, so test and evaluate probably are synonyms. So the definition now, let's just lay it out there as one of the definitions. A procedure intended to establish the quality of performance. So it's a procedure. A test is a procedure. As you say, an evaluation. An evaluation is a norm. Okay. So it's synonymous. To test the quality, reliability of something. Okay. So when you have the word hypothesis test, and that is the topic of this assignment, let's combine those two words. A hypothesis is a statement. A hypothesis and an educated guess is a supposition, is a plausible explanation. It can be tested. So let's just put this as one of the answers you give for hypothesis test. The way in which data is collected and tested for an accurate solution. Okay, you have the word collected and tested and solution. So you have those three words there combined, collected. Also want to mimic the definition of statistics, tested, and then you come to an accurate conclusion. Okay, accurate. How accurate? Okay, so that word there we can specify how accurate. Okay, how accurate is your level of accuracy. You see, more sometimes your sample size is 50. Another researcher has a sample size of 200. Which one is more accurate? So accurate now is like a relative word here. So let's say what hypothesis testing according to Google. And then we almost come into a close up to the introduction of that course. Because when I thought of it, I say to rush into the assignment, because most time it's not really about the assignment, it's really what You all are studying. Hypothesis testing definition. Right. The theory, methods, and practice of testing a hypothesis. And we know what's a hypothesis. By comparing it with the null hypothesis, the null hypothesis is also rejected if it is. So this explanation there, I would like you all to please read it. Get some time, browse through week 9, because when you look in the assisted solution to the questions, the week you are going to use now is week 9, and not just week 9. You have Google, you have the internet, you have the 2 main approaches. So I need you all to develop the culture of, studying, practicing, reading. There are 2 main approaches. I know them, the critical value approach and the p-value approach. Let me see if Google has that. The 2 main approaches. 2 main approaches. You have the critical value approach and the p-value approach. Let's see what Google has to say. The 2 types of hypothesis, they call it types. Well, I'm just going to lay it out there. Just have a little bit minutes, but I just want to see what Google has to say. And you reason why I'm doing that now, I would expect you all to do that also. Anytime you see you doing a course, okay, look up the new words you're coming across, look up its meaning, talk to someone about it, and you're building up your vocabulary. Okay, because you all are the future, decision makers, policy makers, bachelors, masters, PhD, that is what is going on there. So always be aware of that. So the 2 main approaches is the critical value approach and the p-value approach, but is persons that wrote the websites. So persons have different ways of looking at it. So always bear that in mind when you are doing your research. You have alternative hypothesis, so probably that's not the word that they might want to Google might understand, because in the Caribbean we speak a slightly different twist. Let's call it types. I don't know. I just want to get those 2 words: the critical value approach and the p-value approach. Okay, so let me just add it there: critical value approach, and then you have the p-value. Let's see what Google has to say about that. So you have the hypothesis testing, the critical value approach, and the p-value approach. So look, we have it there. So this is they know about that language. Okay. So look, you have the p-value approach. The p-value approach, here you have it, and you have the critical values. So they're talking about it, but not in one website. They have it different persons that contributing on the website, on the internet, have a different way. You have the critical value, and we can use this p-value approach and so forth. So you can look it up, but here we're going to look at it that way. The 2 main approaches, you have the critical value approach and you have the p-value. Okay, so that is what this assignment is about. Right, and you have question number 1, week 9. Okay, so just like A, B, C, assignment A and B, the first set of questions, you can easily obtain them. Question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5 is true and false. If you need help, you can always ask a question. Week 9, and the pages are there. Question number 6 is the same thing. Question number 7 doesn't really require much, straightforward. Question number 6 may require. So I will start developing videos and verbal explanations starting from question number number 6. Okay, so from question number 6, question number 7, so the and up to question number, can anybody tell me how many questions are there in assignment C? Up to question number 7, we can easily
Start if it's 14, I see.
14 14 questions. Okay, 14 questions for question number 7, and you have the 14th question number 14. You have an explanation for it. Okay, explanation for question number 14. So 14 questions, they can be easily understood. Actually, when you look at it, it's I normally call it basically like the easiest topic in the course. It's just like it's not difficult. The two hardest topics is two hardest assignments is B and D, but A and C, they are not. So when you get a hang of it, when you get the gist of it, you will see that it's not a difficult concept, but it's novel. You know, it's a new thing. I don't know many of you will have come across that term, and it's a new thing that you are learning. So it appears to be challenging, but when you get accustomed to the whole procedure, it's not that difficult. Right, so that's basically the conclusion of today's session on